What's up everyone, Nameco here, Fantasy Smack Talk. We're doing more rookie reviews, and here's a guy that a few people are asking about that I personally think landed in a very nice spot, and that is Mike Williams, wide receiver out of Clemson, taken 7th overall, that went to the Chargers. Here's the thing about Mike Williams, he's the guy that Philip Rivers I think desperately needed. 6'4", about 220 pounds, and this guy was a stud last year. Almost 100 catches, over 1,300 yards, 11 touchdowns, and he is definitely a red zone threat. Just watch this guy play, watch the highlights. I love his back shoulder grabs. I love his ability to go up and locate the ball. And this is just the guy that Philip Rivers really needed, right? So Keenan Allen always seems to be banged up, but he's never been that big red zone target. It always went to Gates, but Gates is getting older. So in comes Mike Williams, and I think he can make an instant impact this year on fantasy and certainly interesting in dynasty leagues. So let's talk about who it helps. First of all, I think Philip Rivers went from always an underrated quarterback, especially in 2 QB leagues, to a very intriguing option. I think that he could have a monster year. Well, a Philip Rivers monster year. I don't think he's going to do the same as something like what we're going to do. I think Brady's going to do, or potentially Luck bounce back to do, but I think he's going to be extremely solid. I think this brings him into quarterback 1 status in 12-team leagues. And the thing about Mike Williams, where do I want to see him being drafted? Well, let's put it this way. Dynasty Keeper leagues, I'm actually putting him as my #1 wide receiver I want to grab. Sure, I like the other guys, I know what you're going to say, but I just think this kid has all the potential. He really reminds me of an Andre Johnson type player. I think sky's the limit for him. Just a big body, looks like he can be a good possession receiver, and I think he's a guy that could step right in. I wouldn't be shocked if he got double-digit touchdowns. With that said, this year I'm not drafting him and thinking that's definitely going to happen, right? He is still a rookie, but I do think he's a solid wide receiver 3. He's a guy in your draft, or at least in my drafts, that if somebody snags him before me, unless he drafts him, 4th round or something a little crazy, I'm going to be a little disappointed I didn't get him on my squad. He is certainly a guy that Nameco is going to be targeting, but this is early. Remember that I'm shooting this in May. Want to see camp, want to see how this shakes out, want to make sure that he's definitely starting, of course, but I think he's going to start. I think he's going to be solid. I think he's going to be a very good fantasy option this year, and he could be great in years to come. Sky's the limit. Mike Williams. Nameco out.